who's like Ed Sullivan, we have a really good show for you tonight.
There's a promo that I sorry.
Bring in the boss squad, I'm gonna get mine. Go do the crime, if you can't do the time, don't tell me how you're all down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown, it's your fool, bitch. So just step back, I'm mad that when I come down straight, I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. You'll feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises on the top. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Double time, get something in your rigger. 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 Double time, get something in your rigger.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Yes, we are live.
We are live. We have a couple of guests coming in soon. Marjorie and Sam. They have these amazing pre-rolls. I'm so excited to smoke one of these later.
I'm excited to talk to them because every time I interact with them, it's always a pleasant experience.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Love talking to them. I love if you check out their Instagram channel, did you see that promo they posted where I advocated how everyone can fight against Meta with the writing to the Attorney General?
Yeah, what was that all about?
So yeah, I told you about this. You can what was it? If you're a cannabis in the cannabis industry or you're pushing cannabis content and you like me experience the shadow bannings and the traffic redirections and whatnot, you write a letter to your complaint to the New Jersey Attorney Generals under the Consumer Fairness Act against Meta, basically stating we live in a state where this is legal, and the fact that we are restricted in such a sense where to what we can advertise is ridiculous. This is a fight we had to do with packaging. This is a fight we had to do with everything. And this is just another fight in the cannabis industry we have to do. And the more people that complain, the sooner they're going to have to act.
Yeah, that if whatever you sent, it wouldn't matter if it's all originals or if that was available for people to copy and paste and send. That's a good idea.
Yes,
so
I advocated for people to reach out to me for the framework letter that I used.
Yeah, but basically,
Okay, I'm sharing. I'm still doing
Okay,
some.
Jim.
Make it easy, and because who wouldn't, I mean,
Can you repeat that,
obviously-
Jim? You froze for a bit there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
Stop.
I see his nostrils moving. He's fucking with you.
Take it.
Yeah, I would. I know me, and I'm saying like my first impulse would be if I had to place a bet like that, I'd bet I forget to do it or don't get around to it. However, if I had like say a Facebook message, boom, or an email, or if I see something on Facebook that says that, I copy and paste it. Especially what's the address, and you do that for people, and that's worthwhile because
Yeah, I'm gonna work on a template to
Well,
post for people.
I couldn't post that petition, which I'm not trying to move yet. It's got 97 signatures, but there's a lot of extra towns represented there, and now I got my way to go looking back, but it's it didn't get posted. I had to say it's about moving a bill S13, and then of course put that picture under it of me with the meta, with what they wouldn't put in the title.
Right.
Yeah. So even that kind of pissed me off because I want it right in the title. I mean, it is because the picture's there, and anywhere anybody sees it, they see the picture. Okay, it was a workaround, but it shouldn't have to be a workaround.
The fact that we have to advocate for this is just a repeat of, like I said, the same thing we had to go through when they were saying, "Oh, your packaging's too provocative. Oh, the names are too provocative. Oh, you shouldn't be able to sell vapes."
Yeah, I remember all that.
No.
Yeah, but again, if that was even made easier then, and people said, "Hey, make sign-on letters. They're awesome." You don't have to go that far. You've already got. I tell you, at least that. And a couple of clicks. The simplest thing. It won't matter. What happens is if it's long, it won't get read. As soon as they know what it's about, they check that box, and put it in that file. They don't really ruminate on what's being written.
I wonder if there's a way I can modify this into a template. Like, have you ever used a PDF app, and it will have the spots that you need to fill in your information open? So I could maybe do that in the letter for people. So it's the minimal work they need to do to.
Yeah. Well, I being a tech dinosaur have managed to work with a copy paste and then add a paragraph of your own with no question marks.
I love that as a concept. Let me tell you something. As someone who's used technology as much as I have, I've done a copy paste once.
Yeah. No, seriously. I think most people, if I can do it, everybody can do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but see, the directions are important. It's just the one thing you don't want not dealt with. I mean, so if it's going to be personal to somebody, you do want them to say why, however they want, but no question marks, because if they ask a question and you have one that's the real question, they're going to answer the other question mark and not deal with what you really needed to know. It runs that risk every freaking time.
You have to be very direct with them.
Yeah,
yes.
But to make it easy for the people you want to help, it's like you get to add your own paragraph or not. In other words, it'll be set to go, or you can say why. But then, it's like when I have Tom, are you a patient or not? It doesn't matter. It works either way. You're a constituent. If so, a patient, and do you have a hard trouble, whatever, to talk about the price. Yeah, they'd love to hear that, whatever. But then it doesn't take long. See, my downfall is this. I'll tell you what. I don't know how to file shit and keep track of stuff. So when I get 8, 9 people, as I did up to 12, it's easy to juggle stuff when you don't hear from them for 2 weeks. But then everything they're sending out says to whoever is on email duty this morning, could you please acknowledge receipt of this so I know that a reply will be forthcoming? Otherwise, you don't know, and then that also works well when you don't get a reply, because then that speeds up the process. 10 days later, you nudge. Now there's still time to work like this, but when you go through constituents, it really, really counts, and you only need one. That's why I'm enjoying the advantage of being able to be in touch with the 3 Republican constituents.
And before we focus on my 2 favorite people who are about to join the cast, I just wanted to share something with you guys real quick that made me think of you. I was on the phone with my friend Amanda earlier. She lives in Florida. Every now and then she'll be driving and ask me to check a dispensary's website for her. And what do you got there, Jim?
I'm just putting this up because there was something else. There's big like a coffee cup in front of my screen.
Okay.
What, you got
Florida specific? No, but so yeah, so she asked me, check their dispensary websites and see what they got and tell me my options. An ounce in Florida of Trop Cherry, $115. An ounce. Just highlighting that price difference again. Oh, Jim's muted.
Oddly enough, I was muting myself by not saying anything anyway.
I didn't know you did that to yourself. Sometimes you don't do that to yourself.
No, that's it really goes to the main problem, right now. But that main problem, what you just said, is also our best ammunition right now, because CRC, we got to see what we can do all this time later. So basically, we finally have traction. That's a good thing.
What surprises me consistently is that the lack of value in seeing that we have many people within New Jersey who have properties in Florida who could easily just go get their cannabis there medically if they wanted to do it that way just for the price. And the fact that they don't factor that in is always astounding to me. Hi guys. Woo, they're here. Oh, very excited. But yeah, it's like carts there, like a 1 gram cart is like $20. It's absurd.
Hey, can you see our guests here? Yeah, yes, you can.
I just screamed to them.
Okay, Marjorie and Sam are here from Just a Woman Cannabis. How you doing?
We're good.
Yeah,
Having a good day.
Marjorie, Sam, how are you guys doing?
Hello.
I'm sorry. There's headphones if you want. If that helps, it'll help you hear, because they're actually on here talking. We got Jim Miller, Jim Miller, and Bucket Man. Bucket Man.
Yes, we do.
He's here, and
Hi guys.
What's up, guys?
And don't assume people know me, because Jim and Miller are both in the most common 6 names, first and last. So I get buried under other Jim Miller sometimes.
I never even thought about that. That's wild. It doesn't help your cause.
You should know me. Google search Jim Miller medical.
No, but I never thought about it like that, of like the pairing of the 2 names together being that. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's one word, Jim Miller.
Yeah.
So I'm freaking out because this little box here. This is a special box. You got to see this box. What's in here? What is it in that box? First of all,
if there's a chocolate bar in there, I'm going to be upset.
No, it's better.
It's better.
It's way better.
So all the petals that we create, or apothecary cones that will be in our product line, are organic and natural, leave a good footprint, or a medicinal product. The terpenes are amazing in it, that also then paired with the cannabis inside is very medicinally out of this world, is probably the best way to put it. That you can have this 100% vitamin for your body without the pesticides, the leads, all the heavy metals that go into processing papers. So we want to give people a recreational product that everyone should have that is also medicinal. I didn't want people to not be able to source our product either, and that it's way out of price range. And I want people that truly have conditions. I have them myself, he does as well. My wife, and most of the world has some sort of condition that we wanted to address. So that's where these came about. So
what different types do you have in there? I think you have a banana roll.
Oh, he liked the banana.
That's a banana leaf.
This is a banana leaf.
Look at that.
I don't know how,
That's the camera right there.
Plátano.
It's a people put food in them. You know, they cook things in corn husks and banana leaves, but we can also put cannabis in it. And we're using A and B bud flour that we grind right to the order and then flash frozen. You know, we put it in the freezer so it stays fresh. So
Right,
we
it's
make
not
sure
shake. No
it's
shake.
not shake
No shake.
at all. Not at all. I know.
Closer. A little closer.
Right in my nose.
Sorry.
Boom. You got the nose ring.
Gotta give
Um,
her space, Lefty.
I talk with my hands.
I talk with my hands.
You want to show that one?
Yeah.
Tiny.
Show it to the
That's the
camera. That's the camera.
There you
Just
go,
get a little,
guys.
yeah, look at that
That's a
sucker.
rose petal.
I can see the color from there. It's very red. Wow.
It's
It
amazing.
looks like blood red from here.
Beautiful.
And we're only using petals that organically grow that color. Like we're not adding dyes to it. So if it's red or pink or yellow or white, then that's how it grows in nature. And we're making sure of that. And or show them the other rose. And
Well,
mixing.
in our 3-pack that's coming out right now is the
garden.
Lotus. It's the garden party. Oh wait, he's moving the keys. Moving.
Look at it. What did you do?
He's shaking my world.
How much-
Get it with the little.
Oh, those look awesome.
That's how we pass
Wow.
joints with that.
Yes.
Yeah, like
There you
Very
Yeah.
pretty.
Nice,
There
nice.
you go.
Very vibrant.
Yes, I love it.
Now this
Now
has
I'm guessing you can get a good read on the terpenes from like the shade and the color.
Yes.
So like
So
that would be more of a sedative one you had right there, the purple one.
The purple lotus is an indica that we're putting in there, and it's very relaxing, but it also helps with neuropathy. It helps with inflammation and pain.
Oh, I love that.
They're playing with
I'm
the
gonna have
cars.
fun here now.
this is how we pass joints.
You can't.
Give her toy. She doesn't focus.
Yes.
She needs
game. You have to
weed
get
then.
You know what I mean? Hold on.
No, she's
Oh, I
failed.
like that.
gotta back it up all the
back
way.
it up.
Oh,
I
I
love
like
it.
that.
And
Come on now, boys. She's trying to
I know.
increase our intelligence here.
and also we
Boys.
use glass tips here. You can show them that, and we do also ashwood tips or bamboo tips.
Correct.
That
I
way,
love the glass tip touch.
Yes, yes.
I mean, this
People
one's
very
all-
much undervalue that.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
It smokes smoother, nicer. It's classy, and I like that you can recycle it, and it's something to be proud of. And if we do put a filter in it, which let's see here, I have one here. Here, you show that one. It has corn husk in
My
it
favorite.
with glass.
Oh man, look at
Now, how are these packaged in like packs of 3, 5?
We do
Yeah, that
3
would
packs
work.
lotus, and then with the others, they're all 1 grams. So we're doing nice big blunts. We're doing Hardy King blunts. This is
yes.
I'll show you Sam's
Yes.
favorite with the tea leaves.
The tea leaves.
Everyone is gonna love this.
Look
Tea
at that
leaf.
ashwood.
And a wood tip.
Now tell
Come
them
on.
what you think it
The
looks like.
black and mild vibe. I love it. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say when we saw these. I said everyone's gonna love these.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? I gotta know.
Tell them what's
Oh,
putting in it.
so the cowboy basil is going in there. And when I tell you it smokes beautiful, just like a cigar, it's amazing. You guys are gonna love it.
It's all basil.
It's cowboy basil.
Cowboy basil.
Cowboy
That's
basil.
the strain that we're growing. Mhm.
And it is a sativia dominant. It's coming in
Oh.
about 29% THC, but it also has CBG, CBA, THCA, obviously. And the terpenes are going up in about 2.6 in the terps.
Okay.
What would you say the top 3 are?
Top 3 which?
Terpenes.
I am very tired, and at this brain session, I'm not going to.
What's the terpene?
I know.
If I had to guess based on the name,
No,
it
it
would
was myrcene, linalool, and I just can't remember the top. third
See,
one.
limonene.
she pulled it out of the back there.
You just had to give me a minute. You had to give me a minute. And I love the one I can never pronounce, the carafal. That's how I say it.
Cariophylline.
Yes,
There
I
you
hate
go.
saying
That
it. I
one.
can never say
What
it.
smell is that? What's that?
It's spicy.
Spicy one.
I think
Okay.
that's me.
Yeah.
Everybody picks up in linalool. We have limonene and all of that, but a lot of our strains are more fruity than gassy. But the cowboy basil's like a mix
Yeah.
of gassy and sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
we
why I
like.
think you guys will be an interesting mix because I see so much gas throughout flower in New Jersey. it's gonna be really nice to see a group really prioritize the sweet, the flavorful.
Trying to pair it with the petals, whereas people are saying, "Are you masking the cannabis?" And I'm not trying to mask it. I'm trying to accentuate it. I'm trying to show people a better model than we've been offered. And I get on my little hippie high horse, like we're getting organic petals from an organic farm in India. And people go, "Oh, India's not like that. They're very industrial." But we searched out and found a woman-owned farm that her husband signed over to her and her daughters, that Pam is now hired 300 women from her village outside of New Delhi that we're actually helping them live, giving them a living wage, and they create these for us. So we go and say, "Here's what we want. Here's the idea."
That's the
And-
best. That's the best comeback ever. For well, in India, blah 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 blah, and just saying that, I would love to see a camera of the expression change from the blah 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 to where you just said it'd be like a shrinking expression into
Just
someone trying to
slowly
will,
evolving into despair.
trying to
Right.
will-
Because then I'm like, no, we
No,
are
that's good.
right by the world and leaving our
Yes.
footprint, and we're helping people have a decent wage, have a career, and be able to do something and give back to women empowerment, and also giving them something to look forward to every day, to where we were told by the owner of the farm that a lot of these women didn't want to be married off, that the dad's like, "Sorry, you're 15, you're going to Joe down the street," and they didn't want that. And now there was an opportunity to open this farm and do this for us organically and create products for us. And we partnered with them so that
And
we're
Amazing.
The
Yeah.
other thing I really like about that is that you guys, again, you're a woman-grown cannabis, and I don't think I can at least speak for the state of New Jersey and a little bit for Florida where I've traveled, that there's anyone really prioritizing women's needs when it comes to cannabis. Sure, it may be an incidental thought, but I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's putting that as a first and foremost priority, which I really, really like. That I'm excited to see the products that come out from that. I have to ask you guys, about your growth. Are you guys soil or hydroponic?
We are soil. We are cocoa
Now-
shell soil.
I have to do the test for my best friend. She would ask you immediately how, as far as care for your plants, do you guys play music for them? Do you sing to them? Everyone I've brought this up to so far has laughed at me.
No. You know what I play for my
I am
plants?
laughing. Sorry.
Can you guess what kind of music I would play on my hippy dippy me?
EDM music?
I heard no. I actually play ABBA and Stevie Nicks.
I
Oh.
love that. She's gonna love that. We had a growth that we did at the start of COVID, and every night when I'd go to bed, when I go to say goodnight to her, she'd be in the plant room either playing EDM music for it or just talking to it and like brushing it and interacting with it. And everyone I've told her so far that has had the opposite reaction when I said, "Do you sing or talk?" Like she gets really upset. She's like, "No, this is a living thing. Like you have to interact with these."
Women are finicky. They need to be, treated like a woman and caressed and finessed. And, like we have one right now that's like, all the sisters are doing well, but she's not. But I'm like, she might not want the sunlight as much. So we're going to put you over here. And then she's doing better now because she didn't need that full on light. She needed a little care over here. So, you really, it becomes something of passion. You're not in there and it's black and white, and it's still a living, breathing energy and a plant. It's sacred. I believe in the medicinal values of it, and I honor it. And I think when you honor and respect another living being, as I put it, then it respects you back, and you get really a great growth and a great harvest out of it.
Amen. Do you guys name your plants when you grow them?
And sometimes my daughters like to call every one of them Bob. Just in the they're in college and
What about Bob? Yeah.
it's all Bob.
Bob?
And they even have a drink called 3 Bob. So don't ask.
How's Bob?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good code name.
So they're all Bob.
Right.
How's Bob doing?
Yes, Bob. How's Bob?
Like
So
love
we
that.
2 or 3.
you name everything weird too.
That's true.
I like the way the question was asking. Oh, yeah, I have to ask this for somebody, and I'm thinking that reminds me of the late great Tim Russert, who would be like on the morning Sunday news stuff and say stuff like, "Somebody in the Los Angeles Times called you a buffoon. How would you respond?" And that was his question, you know? So I'm like, I take note and I say, I'm going to do that more. You know, I was wondering, you know. Yeah. Of course, I'm the guy who starting a rumor that George Norcross, with his troubles being an influencer, taking bribes and helping people, you know, and I don't know how much you know about the Jersey politics, but
I do.
yeah, okay, well, in South, but anyway, I heard a rumor that it was him who didn't want home grow in the original bill, and he's tied to Steve Sweeney pretty good, and that would make sense. And it wasn't okay. Now, I'll say it because it doesn't matter. You know, there's no sanctions one way or the other. But see, I just heard somebody say that. I was just said it, okay, and I hear me saying, I got earphones on, you know. Therefore, I just heard somebody say. Now I can say I've heard multiple times somebody say what I've already said, you know, and once already it came back to me where somebody said they think they might have heard it George Norcross. So it's just kind of fun. I mean, I've never started a rumor on purpose in my life, but this one is just too good to resist, you know.
Too juicy.
Well, the thing is, weird. It was like that Mel Gibson movie, Conspiracy Theory. He was a cab driver, and he was like, "Well, blah, blah, blah," you know, talking about conspiracy. And it turns out one was true, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, what if I kind of hit the nail on the head? Because nothing else makes sense. Everybody, we've had a list of guests why home grow was pulled out of the bill in 2009 to get it passed, pulled out in the assembly. Nonetheless, it wasn't the chairman of the committee. It wasn't his decision. He was the messenger, but he can't say who it was. So all these years, it's a mystery. I mean, it's Jesus. It shouldn't be finding a Loch Ness monster.
When I met you, first home grow in Trenton. We met.
Yes.
So yeah, when I came out after talking to Governor Murphy, and fighting for it.
Two things happened this week with home grow, right, Jim? Two things, two very different things. One is Scutari is putting up a bill that's going to, what is it? It's going to criminalize selling cannabis to.
It's a response to the illegal smoke shops or whatever, you know, delis,
and the patrons and
convenience stores that have products, because there's products that are legal and then there's products that aren't. But the problem with this is he's going after that. It's all about money into the state treasury, and whether or not it works or doesn't, it makes him look good. He's building up a brand, and he's the man, you know. So he's doing that. But what happens is it also, I don't want to say criminalizes, it offers sanctions against people who make purchases there. In other words, it's not just like, they're making it up to people to clear whether or not things are legal or not legal on the shelf. Is this legal? I mean, what the hell?
I think
who does
more
that?
Restrictions on those kind of sales at the smoke shops as far as cannabis is good. I think whatever we can do, because here's the thing. I've talked to a lot of these people that work at these smoke shops, and you know, the people at the sale that are selling it, that's one thing, you know, they do what they're told. When I talk to the people that are actually making decisions and getting this stuff, they don't care. They don't. But what about the stuff? They're not looking as far as like these two are right here as far as their flower. They're probably being offered it off a big plastic bag from someone that they're getting their tape stuff from.
Yeah, this is.
I'm concerned, the more we can get out, the better.
Don't muddy the water like that, man. You know, we're talking about people like maybe patients who can't afford it going to buy something because it will be cheaper than it will be in a dispensary. And and they're trying to extend their medicine. That, like, the problem is they have never been included before. If you out at, say, a little festival and, you know, there's a lot of vendors and there's some bud and you think probably not legal, but it wouldn't be against the law for you to have up to 6 ounces in your possession. So that's like a symbiotic relationship for people who really can't afford to have any sanctions, and that's patients, because they're poor, they're defenseless in many cases, you know, many not. But you know, that before allowing a bill to be heard after 3 years of blocking it that would allow patients to grow their own and do, ooh, I feel like Lewis Black coming on.
Oh no.
And then I'm actually got my hands out of sight here, you know, because yeah, I also do that. Yeah, it blows me away, you know. But what ties in with this is for 4 years, started with Senate President Sweeney and carried on when Senate Scutari became Senate President, that if the head of the Health Committee posts the bill for hearing, it'll come down, or he's not allowed to post it without explicit permission. And that's the way it works for all bills. I mean, the Senate President or in the Assembly, the in this case, the leader of the Assembly can stop a bill from even being posted for a hearing. They don't need to, because they could stop the vote after the hearing. So my contention is they want to stop the information that would lead to support.
Correct.
What they're doing is they're accepting people's not well-educated opinions from an echo chamber somewhere, rather than allowing senators to hear information in the most pertinent and credible fashion, where people pro and con come and senators pro and con the hearing. It's the best form of information senators have. It's the information that's being stopped for 4 years without explanation. And if people didn't have more red flags popping up about this, it'd be like, holy shit, what's it going to take? I mean, what's it going to
Well, I didn't really honestly look at it from that angle, but I mean, to that point, I think the fact that there are so many red flags up and no one's saying anything speaks to what I've been saying for weeks now. People would freak out for decriminalization. I said this to you guys.
Yeah.
They freaked out for legalization. And now that everyone has their creature conveniences, quiet.
Yeah.
Well, look, the deal is this. Senator Scutari does not want adults to grow their own until the program is up and running and working, yada, yada. What it is there was a big outcry when people found out they should have known what they were voting for in the referendum. It didn't include home grow. What do you mean? Well, then that was just an uninformed vote the right way.
It's the constitutional right for cultivation.
Yeah, but you would think, you know, but this was certainly not my expectation.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is that
It's it, though.
Nick Scutari really had it coming from all sides for about 3 months. But what he's done is sort of weather the barrage, because there's other things going on, but he cast the net so wide as to include patients, very separate bill just for them, because it's the same information that works for adults. He doesn't want the information being heard, and he's willing to sacrifice patients so that senators do not hear what they would hear about what is not going on in other states. And it blows me away that it's all about information. And while everybody's really looking for co-sponsors, I got to say, if you've lost the keys to the car, you don't keep polishing it and making plans. You find the freaking keys, you know. We don't know why it was taken out in the first place 15 years later. What I know is we are always missing pieces of the puzzle. We always will be. It's finding the ones that are hardest for them to defend their silence. Or, my God, Senate President told Lefty to his face about the bill. Yeah, we've been talking about that patient lately. Home grow for patients 2 years ago. Yeah,
Sure.
We've been talking about it lately.
Who's this we?
Yeah.
And remember, we're a state of
yeah.
pharmaceuticals. The
Yeah.
whole state is just pharmaceutical.
Well, yeah. Oh, by the
We
way,
actually-
to that end, I did start a petition. I haven't circulated it with any vengeance yet, but it's all based on getting the bill to a hearing concerning Senator Scutari and all this, you know. So at least to get to ask other legislators to sign it and all.
And you say the pharmaceutical companies. We actually had a guest on from Georgia recently who shed my eyes to this. I completely forgot about this factor completely. The cotton industry is a huge factor in this as well. It's still a relevant a hate factor against cannabis. And it makes so much sense, but it's like blows my mind completely.
We didn't want to. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like drag the conversation for
you're fine.
No, because I mean, I don't know if I stated how impressive and how I love the attention to the details that you are paying attention, and it's it's the one. When I say there's always the industry, there's always going to be that. But the one thing about cannabis consumers that really have that reverence for the plant itself, everything works out better in my mind when people who are in any kind of business have that feeling, you know, and because you know, that's where I would rather purchase something myself. I mean, if I can buy local, I would rather do that. You know, that's
I don't think people value, though, the difference of the perspective of what they're doing, though. And here's what I mean by that is that when you have cannabis made for everyone, we know everyone is in the perspective of how things are developed is a very male dominated perspective of things. When you switch to a woman's perspective of cannabis, I am so excited to try your guys' flower because of the concepts and aspects that you guys are thinking about that no one else is thinking about. Because I tell you right now, no one out there is thinking about with cannabis, women who are dealing with post-pregnancy issues or any woman-specific issue. They're dealing with and cannabis is mending general issues that definitely men deal with, and also probably women to an extent, but no women-specific issues. So with all of that in mind, I'm just, again, I'd say I'm really excited to try your flower. I want to ask though, now you guys say, what I did appreciate earlier was that you guys were emphasizing the fact that pretty much no matter who you are, medical patient or recreational patient, you're trying to mend something. The era of really just getting high to get high is, for most part, I would say for most people over. I think a lot of people try to get smoke with functionality. I'd like to think, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, the smart people.
So, how do you tackle that? Because I feel like with tackling medical issues, you definitely have a more, I guess, idea of what your demands are of patients. How do you guys tackle, like, I guess, the top 3 or top 5 recreational cannabis needs?
Go ahead. Try it.
No. I get nervous talking about
You
things.
can talk to me. We've talked before. Come on.
No, we won't tell anybody.
It's
let me ask you. What,
between us here.
It's just Bucket Man.
It's just Bucket Man.
It's just Bucket
I
Man.
know.
It's just me. It's just me.
Like, personally, I think that most, like, let's say we talk about women's issues, right? Every woman has a period, generally, unless unfortunately there's something in their system or something tragic that has happened to them. So all women have periods. All women go through perimenopause, and if there is something tragically wrong, then they're set in with a hysterectomy or something of that nature. Then they're forced into menopause. Whereas rose petals, now the one thing is with rose petals, people will say, well, don't they pick up heavy metals? Don't they pick up chromium? They do. Naturally, rose petals absorb everything out of the soil, everything. So they do pick that up, but it's a natural occurring thing in the petals to have chromium. But when you smoke it, there are things in the petals that give you an aphrodisiac. They balance our hormones. They help with pain, inflammation. They actually soothe us so that there's no postpartum. There's nothing in it that also helps with anxiety and depression, and it stops the munchies. So there's more benefits to the petals than there is that little bit of chromium that comes
Stops
up
the munchies.
Yeah.
I need that.
It's interesting that dual attitude with munchies with people. Some people like, I want to have the munchies. Some people like, I don't want to eat a lot.
Right. They don't want that thing. Then we have like diabetes, very predominant. Type 2 diabetes, especially. And then you have your type 1s. It's very predominant in both sides of my family. And I actually have type 2 and I do it diet controlled myself with natural medicines and things. But when we have our cinnamon, our French paper that's organic that we're getting from France, and we put cinnamon oil in that, that is also helping balance their A1C, stopping that glucose from spitting out all day, and it's curbing their appetite. Cinnamon is really healthy just to take in general when you're diabetic, taking the pills, putting it in your food. My grandmother was a diabetic and always sprinkled cinnamon in her eggs. I didn't think that was lovely, but she loved cinnamon toast and cinnamon in her eggs. But I came from family farmers that taught me medicine that was old school medicine. You know, we did all of this. Yep. So a lot of this comes derived from that as well. You know, eating to the seasons, canning and doing fermenting and things like that. And my grandfather was a big advocate of fish heads in his soil. So he was big on putting fish into the soil to balance the pH. Could
you elaborate on that? I've never heard that before.
Oh, no. Scottish people were weird. So he believed in using any fish that was to the area. Like, you know, of course, if you live by the sea, then you use sea. But he would use bluegill, sunny, and perch and bass. And once he skinned them, then he would take the rest of the fish, put it in his soil, and his crops were 10 times better and fruitful. And he was an amazing farmer.
And he would use fish local to you.
I used to hate it because I would run around in the fields and get in trouble and get my ass beat. My grandma like, get back here. And I'd step on him and go, ooh, fish eye, you know. And so
I have to tell my dad about that. I wonder if he's ever heard about that.
And I still to this day do that in, you know, the backyard garden, and it is bountiful. It is amazing what you're getting out of the fish and the calcium and all the things that are in the bones and the product of the fish. In Scotland, they pretty much use every bit, you know, haggis, all of that. We use every bit of the animal. Like nothing is used, you know, the skin, you know, using the sheep and shearing that and using the wool. And we use intestines, everything, you know.
So to that end, I have to ask, do you guys use every bit of the plant?
Yes. And the thing is with cannabis, I mean, you can use the stalks, you can use the roots, you can use every bit of the plant in some way, somehow that works out to benefit us. Our bodies, it complements it. It's there. Now, like a good friend of ours, Erica, has Gigi's Garden. I don't know if you've seen her journal. If not, please go get it. She has a cannabis journal that she put out. And I was doing it back in the day when I was with New Jersey Alternative Medicine. And then we were just using dollar store journals and pens. But if you keep a journal of what strains you're using and how it navigates, we can look at it and get data that I was doing with our patients, with our veterans, with different women's support groups back in the day. Because what you do is you go, okay, I tried this strain. It's an indica. It has this much terpenes, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I came in, I had pain, anxiety, I have paranoia. Well, then I'm going to go right instead of left. I'm going to look for the exact opposite of that strain. And then they'd write that down and tell me how that worked. And it worked beautifully. There are ways to go through because everybody, the lock and the key aren't the same, right? We have so many locks out there and so many keys fit certain things. Our body's that way. Nobody is exactly the same. We're all unique individuals. So your cannabis experience medicinally has to come from that, right? We have to decide what works best for us. And then we also need a tea break because we can build up a tolerance just like we would in a pharmaceutical. But what happens is, when we still navigate to what the family, you know, the terpenes, the cannabinoids that work for us, we can navigate into a nice little cluster of what works best for our bodies. So that's what we've done with our products, is trying to do the analytics and see and do the data and the research that I've done over 10 years and say, okay, 80% of my test groups said this worked. These women came back. These veterans came back. I'm big on veterans because my father was in the Marines and got Agent Orange poisoning, which has trickled down to myself and my daughters. So I actually have a lot of deformities, and people don't see that I can't walk and I can't talk or move my arm on my left side, but cannabis causes me to stand up straight and walk and talk. So I'm a big advocate on that medical side of it because I have Agent Orange. I have like almost 90% Agent Orange poisoning rearranged DNA. So
Right.
cannabis and these plants, and the thing is, the heavy metals and the toxins that are in China. I'm sorry, China, but I'm gonna say it.
It's true.
You know, you go over and you get these from these factories, and it has all the chemicals and all the machinery and all the stuff is infused into these rice papers. And I get it, you're getting it for 2 cents and blah 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 blah, and I'm making all this green. Our margins are small on our, and we're a small batch, as well as what we sell it for. Everyone says, "Oh, you're too cheap." No, I want someone who has an illness or even just on a budget can come in and get a quality product that's organic,
Yeah.
that's going to help your body. So my wife and I are very big advocates on that. So we want to make sure it's sourced right and done right so that we know what's going into our body. So I know what goes into my body and what I make, because I need to walk and talk, and I talk a lot.
Yes.
I know.
And that's
you-
something I see. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, there's one question. Diabetes.
Yeah.
Do you have a strain that helps you with diabetes? Because I know there's something called Veradamine, THCV.
Yes,
That's
THCV
helpful?
is very helpful. We've been working on that. We're not square yet, because what I want to do is make it into a tincture. So our lab will be up and running in about 3 months. So we want to do some more R&D on that, because it also helps with your hunger and how the glucose in your pancreas, how that is spit out throughout the day. So with that THCV, it also curbs your hunger, but also sustains you longer so that your body's regulating it, and it actually helps your pancreas regulate. But
Wow.
it's the research for the last 5-6 years. But now it's just isolating it with the right strains. And now that we are hybriding and bringing those together, we can find the right balance. So I would rather have it not in a smokable form, in a tinctural sublingual form. So I'm something I do have on the list because it's near and dear to me.
They used to have Durban Poison in Jersey,
No, I
but
love it.
nobody
Right?
really sells it because
I
it's not a
used to know it.
moneymaker. Yeah,
It's
but
not.
it's
That's
not a
the
moneymaker.
problem, because for a while, and it's happening, people are breeding for the highest THC, whereas we're breeding for the terps. And I'll tout all day, every day. Breakwater is my favorite. They have a lot of one-to-ones. They do it right. They really care about their medical patients. And anytime that I've had a question or something I needed, they took that feedback, and they'd even come back and go, "Hey, we did this. I love what you said. Can you come try it?" You know, I love them.
They're considered craft cannabis in New
Yeah.
Jersey. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are, and they're doing it right. I've sat in line during COVID
Yeah,
to
me
get
too.
exactly what I
Me
needed.
too.
I didn't care if it was a 3-hour. I'm like in the car with snacks, holding out. you
I was
know.
there.
Yep.
I was with you.
Yep. But
And I very much appreciate. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I very much appreciate that you guys take that into consideration, that setting yourself aside from everyone else who just wants to sell like to the general public of the highest THC, the thing that's going to get them the most high. And I'm always criticized about that when I pick out my carts about why do I go for the higher pay, the more expensive brand, or even why do I go to hunt certain strains? I'm going for a feel. I'm a medical patient. I'm hunting certain feels and vibes,
Sure.
which I very much hope you guys are going to make carts, and I will very much try those all day.
We plan on it. As I said, we're small,
Yeah.
and we're working on it. That's going to be
About
new.
next year. Yeah.
Good
I'm
luck keeping
curious.
up the supply. I'm telling you.
Can you expand a little more on THCZ? I've never heard of this before.
The V,
V.
V, 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 V.
V.
Veradamine.
Yeah. It's just, there's so many out there. Like most people just go, "Oh, THC, please." And they might say CBD. Even with CBD, I tell people, do you like a full spectrum? Do you like an isolate? What are you looking for? And there's CBG. And I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, but they don't realize that there are so many classifications and so much breakdown in these plants that it's unfortunate. When I went in yesterday, I was at Earth and Ivy, and we were doing an education, and they said, 20-minute slot. I'm like, oh, that's going to be hard. She knows me. But at the same time, I'm not going in and going, okay, here's our SKU. They're really fun. Here's what it is. Here's some merch, and walk away. I actually sit and discuss and let them talk to me, ask questions, and give them the history of cannabis, breaking it down on all the main ones, because you can go, it's terpenes, you can go hundreds and thousands of terpenes. So I wanted them to have the basics. And they said it was the best education they had ever had, and no brand has ever come in and done that.
Right.
It shocked me. I've been in cannabis so long, and I've been in every facet of this industry, up and down, good and bad. And you're telling me of all the brands we have in New Jersey, nobody's teaching you the history and the background of the products you're
pretty sad.
offering?
You're the cream of the
Well, I
It
like
doesn't surprise me at all, and here's why it doesn't.
that. That's very sad.
You set the bar very high, though. You
Right.
guys
Yeah.
set the bar.
You have-
Well, it is
I-
sad. Yeah.
And, no, Lucky's right. I'm
true.
not going to say that there's no brand ambassadors that are doing their job out there. The
Some
brand
very-
ambassadors,
Don't
everyone
Oh, yeah.
does their
I can
job.
tell you a few.
That being said, they're talking about the product. They're not informing people about the effects of the product. It can't like they'll talk about what they can expect to feel, but they're not talking about who it applies to, who you're pushing this. They're saying push it to everyone. They're not really pushing the medical facts of it and educating them about like really the deep dive of the product and how like what you're talking about there. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
They're not asking.
No, not at all.
They're not asking patients what are you using this for?
They
And
just want them in and out. They're told by
they're never asked that.
10 minutes. They
Yeah.
say 10 minutes. That's all you get. And I've heard it from everybody is when they walk in the door and they look at the menu, if they don't go and pre-order, at the kiosk or whatever, but if they come to the bud tender or whatever they call them in different locations, that they sit there and say, you have 10 minutes to make the sale because we have more coming in. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
It's gonna take
no.
me some time to look at your menu. I want to know what you have. I want to.
Especially people that are
You know?
medical or senior citizens,
Especially.
especially.
Yeah, it's
The time to grandma comes in. I mean, we used to
Yeah.
do it with Dr. Metabowski. We would bring them to the dispensaries. We'd bring them to it was always Breakwater because that was my favorite
Yeah.
back in 2010, back in the day. So we would sit there and say, hey, we're here. We're not their guardian. I also am an adult, but I'm here to help Mrs. Smith to find her and navigate the right way. And they took the time. They don't anymore.
More of an advocate. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
One
going to have a long-term family customer. You're going to have a consumer that comes in and you're just like the local CVS that they go in and know their pharmacist, like back in the day. Now they're going to know their dispensary and their bud tender and
Yep.
be that way. It should have that rapport.
it's a medical customer. You need to be able to. You're assessing diagnoses that they have. You need to be able to take a careful consideration and make sure you're not giving something that's going to flare them up.
The
Or-
contraindications, correct. But the problem is because it's not valid, as they say, and that it can't, they still, when I do the education, I go, remember, you have to say it may, it can, because then they can come back and sue you and say, this did not work. So it's unfortunate. We need the federal government, we need the state government, we need the local government to address it. We need them to see that natural medicine is real medicine.
Yes.
It started back in the day. And that's how we figured out, oh, that mushroom's bad, Fred's dead. Nope, this worked. I feel great.
That mushroom's good.
Yeah,
Real
that
good.
mushroom's real good.
That's why when I was a bud tender over at Air, I always, when I was working on the medical side, even on the recreational side, if someone seemed like they were eager, I would never push this on people, but if someone seemed like they were eager for information about cannabis and wanted a little more time to stand and talk about what they were getting, I'd say, here's my card. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Ask me anything you need about the product. If you're looking at the menu, I had a woman stop. This was one of my favorites. I was in ShopRite once, and this woman who I'd helped one day stopped me in ShopRite, said, wait, you're the person from Air, right? And I said, yeah. She pulled out her phone, a list, and said, hey, can I ask you a couple of questions? I was happy to stand there. Right, it was one of my favorite things, but there's not enough awareness of the fact that these things do have effects. Like people still view this as just like a mellow chill out. Maybe you feel a little. It's a variance, and they don't realize it's not a variance. It's only a variance if you don't research it.
It's just like gummies when someone's new or a senior citizen comes in, they go, here, have an edible. I'm sorry, I don't push edibles for the first that you're going to try.
There's something I wanted to bring up, and that just like runs circles right back into it. To me, a real interesting part of all this is the senior population, especially those that would be like in a retirement community, not where they can take part in their own health in this way, but my the other co-founder of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey, Ken Walsky.
Yep,
He loves going to see. Way back in the day, back in the day before we had law at all, You know, I've been to a few, and it always blew me away back then how interesting it was, because it was all of a sudden, now there's too much, there's something here. And there's always one somewhere that already knows something about it sometimes, you know, and that's kind of fun. But they're not just the best listeners, but they could really would love everything that you've said here.
Thank
You know, it's if I know you got to be like
Refreshing.
really busy, really busy, but you,
I watched them. They're everywhere.
we're just everywhere. And, you know, the senior group, you know that pinene is really good right now. Like if you can isolate the terpene pinene, it's actually, they're doing studies that are reversing Alzheimer's and dementia. So they're taking different facilities and saying, hey, would you like grandma to be in this test group? So if you hear about it, spread the word, because
My grandmother.
her grandma has it.
Really?
Yeah,
and
my
we're-
grandmother has dementia, and my mother has early stages.
So we're
My
working
grandmother
this
does too.
around
Yeah.
the world. I sit on a few boards. I sit on the New Jersey Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, and I now sit on a national one for women in cannabis. And then now we're starting a global one. And Heidi Whitman is this most amazing woman who's doing so many things out of the United Kingdom. And they're working with research on pinene to get with showing the studies of what this is doing. It's reversing. They're literally seeing the growth inside. Because basically, it's like if you had had a small T-mall stroke and then it has stopped. And now it's releasing that wall in your brain and opening it back up slowly and safely when
Wow.
you microdose it in an isolated sense.
That's incredible. That's
I didn't know that.
Grandma, remember
that's part of the news I love hearing about cannabis. It's just
Yeah.
what it does.
The research we should have had 40 years ago.
right?
We're getting to now.
Yep.
And that's it gets back to the problem. It's like we all know that people don't. I'm gonna double back on this again for after this, but we all know that this is a product that we constantly deal with people not being aware enough of. And I've worked in a lot of different fields before cannabis, and every one of them I've been able to at least have some sort of blame in myself to like, oh, they should be able to know this. Not cannabis, unfortunately. It's not unfortunately. We are dealing with a product, I've said this before, that has been fear-mongered, has been pushed with fake information, lied about for
Yes.
years and years and years. And the general public has been stigmatized to research against it. So it's something that I keep going like, why don't people know about this? But I'm just like, yeah, okay. So we have to guide them in a lot of ways. And the big way I try to guide them, you were talking about, I guess, being aware of what cannabis is doing to you and having people, I guess, educate themselves on that. A big tool I used as a bud tender was I always told people, it sounds kind of obvious, but practice some insightfulness. And what I mean by that is when you take your edible, you sit, you note the time, you take your edible, you note your state of mind at the moment, you wait an hour, and you compare notes. Comparing notes, insightfulness it seems so obvious when you say it to people and they think to you, what? You don't think I'm aware of myself? No, you know what? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you smoke, I think you have stuck in your ways.
An hour. I tell people 4 hours if you're brand new. And they still
Okay.
go, the carpet ate me. I'm like, why did
The
the carpet?
carpet.
They're like, well, I didn't feel anything after 2 hours, so I just took the rest of it. And I'm like, no, how many
Yeah.
do you take? How many do you take? So that's why I'm not like a huge advocate,
Yeah.
even a low milligram of an edible. I'd rather them learn from a sublingual tincture. And I also make sure that they have a full spectrum, not an isolate CBD, because you can put that sublingually under your tongue and it'll bring you down or out of it in about 5 seconds and slowly get you back to where you need to be.
I have a family member who hates cannabis now because they took a piece of a gummy,
And had a bad trip.
had a horrible time.
It's, I mean, it understands, and then we lose more people to cannabis due to bad edibles.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Yeah.
I've told this story before, and I definitely haven't told you guys before. It was like years ago. I met my parents for dinner, and my mom, who doesn't smoke weed at all, and my dad being the one who will approach you and say, "Listen, back in the '70s, I would, but not now." But he approached me and said, I tried an edible recently, and I had to go to the hospital. And I said, "Okay, so what happened?" And she said, well, I took it and I started to get very racy and anxious. So your father brought me to the hospital. They gave me an IV and I came down. I said, okay. So what you did was essentially get your insurance to pay you to drink water when you should drink water.
And that does happen. It's in your bloodstream, and it does give you some racy heart at times, especially if your body's not used to it on a regular basis. And they're taking too much, and they believe, 10 milligrams sounds really small. I want you to take like 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, like just a nibble. Even, you know, your body's not used to it. It's not that it's not healthy, but we need to do it in the right manner. Yeah. And people also need to know the contraindications. You know, are you on blood thinners? That's a big one with cannabis. Anything with your heart, blood thinners.
Like Coumadin?
Coumadin is very popular. Yeah. And also the average over 40 person is on 13 pharmaceuticals. And most of them are antidepressants. So it's going to not level outright. And then you have these side effects. So it's something that we need to know.
Cannabis is the best.
Let's get those pharmaceuticals down. I understand you guys have to go, and I'm sorry if I've been dragging you guys along here. I love talking to you guys, though. You guys know that.
I just want to add quick. I really like that last part because I was schooled on a podcast perhaps a week or less or more ago about I was wondering, you know, where you would start, and my estimate came in high, but that's because I know I'm ignorant. I'm very self-aware, and I almost hate that most times. Living in the real world, you know.
Screw that.
Yeah, but it was 1.75 was exactly what I was told. Well, I would start with anything with 1.75 milligram, and you is exactly what you were saying. It was right in the range you were giving. So it actually corroborates what we just heard, and also to me expresses the importance that other people should know that who think they know what a small dose is. You know,
and a 4-hour wait.
And if I 2 to 4 hour wait, 4 hours is the safest. Yeah. Because then you know it's been through your bloodstream, it's circulating top to bottom at that point, unless you're that slothy. But most people, even if you're sitting on the couch playing video games, 4 hours is going to be a full. But I even had with some of my senior patients, I was like, just wait till the next day. You did 2 milligrams. Okay. Tomorrow you'll do 4. And they're like, are you sure I can work? I said, don't do it because you'll never go back to cannabis. Trust me.
So when people come to Mad Hatter, what do they ask for now? What product are they asking for?
Just the woman cannabis.
Just the women?
Yeah.
And what are we looking for?
Everything. No.
Get it all. It's all good.
Garden Party that's on there.
Garden Party.
But we have Empress, we have Queen, we have
it must have a website, a contact point, a website of some sort. You must
justwomancannabis.com.
Yep.
You can look for Sam. Sam's all
answers all we have our Instagram, same thing, Just a Woman Cannabis.
Yep. Check them out and come to Mad Hatter and check out their products. They got great stuff here, and we're excited to.
Awesome ladies, super friendly. If you ever see them at an event, say hi. They're just awesome to talk to.
But Facebook presence, yes.
Facebook visual presence all over.
No,
cannabis friendly on Facebook. Not really.
Everybody just boots us off.
No. That's why I'm asking.
I'm gonna send you guys that letter so you have an outline to send yourself. I'm gonna get around to that. I promise.
Sounds great.
I'm pretty impressed. I really am.
LinkedIn.
Thank you very much. Yep.
LinkedIn.
Thank you. There's Just a Woman Cannabis there, as well as Sam and I are on LinkedIn as well.
Marjorie, Sam, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice meeting you guys.
Bye. See you.
It's funny. They're on a delay, so they're going to wave in about 10 seconds.
I know.
All right. So, hey, guys, we're going to wrap up the show, too. I came in especially for them. So I'm going.
Good, thanks to all of you then.
Yeah, I was excited.
Take it easy. Go buy Just a Woman Cannabis. Check out the Instagram for Sativa Cross, Just a Woman Cannabis, Bucket Man TV. Everyone have a good day. See you Thursday.
All right.
They're working on the email, but they can't figure out why it's not working.
Let's go through the list here.
I'm gonna go get some Taco Cat.
We want a Taco Cat.
Oh yeah, it's a new strain I found at Air, and I was like, I can't not get Taco Cat.
Taco Cat is a strain he got.
However, that's I will say it's only because I have loyalty points there right now. I'm aiming to come try your stuff soon as possible.
Across the street.
Okay.
We don't go there.
That's what I'm just saying. It's not
we don't go there. Okay. Come here. Come here instead.
We will.
Thank you, Mad Hatter, for having us, and we love our studio here. We're working on our studio. As you can see, we have our little Mad Hatter building. I know it's ugly. We're gonna get to it. It's a work in progress. It's because look at the corners. Look at the corners. I gotta fix the corners. I gotta fix the top.
It's authentic though. Like I think it definitely works. You know what I would like though? If you guys got a live camera shot of outside to play on the green screen.
That's what it's. The green screen is alive. Oh, a live.
Oh, okay.
Shot.
Yeah, a live shot, like people walking in and out of the dispensary and stuff.
I see what you mean.
That would be an awesome green screen.
Or work in progress.
Yeah, go out this way.
Who wants the hat?
Oh, I'll take a hat.
And it's the LGBTQ.
Yes, thank
One
you
for the
so
gays.
much.
Thank you. And we'll bring you some samples next time. How
I
about
want a
that?
hat. I want a hat too.
I want a hat.
Have a
Give
good
me a
day,
hat.
guys.
Oh man, that's so
So
cool.
look into what would be easier if you guys got a live camera out there, or if you send me that picture you're using, I could just animate like a guy sitting out front and just like looking around.
Would you get a hat?
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's way off.
That's a little better.
Sounds like you got a hat.
So are we regular time Thursday?
Yeah, regular time Thursday. I came in especially for them because I heard they were coming in today to bring
No,
their
you know what? That was really good.
Yeah,
And
no, they're awesome. I love talking to them.
bath bombs. They got bath bombs. Come on, nobody has bath bombs in Jersey.
Man.
So thank you,
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Mad Hatter is the best. They're open for business, so come on in to Mad Hatter. UFCW, CMMNJ, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org. Oh, the other thing that happened this week was Vitali signed on to the home grow bill.
I put that first.
That was the second thing.
I would put that at the top of that
I think
list.
they're both together. They're both intertwined because I believe this is the
They are. They are.
first step to home grow. I think that's what's happening here.
First of all, we should know that why did it take Vitelli 3 years? And right off, I'm not going to wait to be asked. My sense is it's a sign to other Democrat senators that they too are okay to co-sponsor the bill. President Scutari will not sanction you when you're looking for a better committee assignment or you want to take somebody's place. He's not going to say, well, then you shouldn't have co-sponsored a bill you knew I didn't want brought up. I find that to be the thing that all other Democratic senators who should support it, you can include them now. I mean, they couldn't tell you, look, I can't do it. They're Senate president and all. But it means something, and we don't know what it means. But therefore, somebody should be saying, thank you, Joe Vitelli. Somebody was standing, and why now? So like, Jelani's article really gave a lot of insight to some things, and I've already been through it. But this wasn't even included in it because the article was, that wasn't part of it because it just happened, I'm assuming. But it's also why is that? And so like basically, it's up to co-sponsors to explain what is the function of being a co-sponsor, because it doesn't involve sticking up for the bill. It means that you will vote yes if it comes to a vote. That's all it means. But patients, especially in a healthcare bill, they think that it means you're going to support it. Meaning, if it's not being allowed to be brought up for a hearing, that co-sponsors would ask the Senate president, would you please allow it to be posted? And he could say yes or no. Ask. But we couldn't even get co-sponsors to do that. I mean, that was up to Senator Singleton or Gopal, and they did. They did their asking. But Joe Vitelli co-sponsoring it now means something. And whatever it is, it's good. It's what I call traction. And I will, in my mind, if anybody asks me when it's over to run a timeline through it, I'm going to mark that co-sponsorship down as the first real traction we've had to getting this bill heard. Once it's heard, he has a choice. He can stop the vote or not. Stopping the vote looks bad. It doesn't mean it's just grease the skids. It's giving you traction up to where the grease is, though. Mixing metaphors.
Progress though, but I think that's the big takeaway though. Like, yeah,
It
I
is.
think
So
progress.
it's a time for people who are already engaged. Already new one. Include that and say, what do you think it means? I mean, if you got a senator, I'd like to know, what do you think it means? You know, him finally co-sponsoring it after 3 years. It's a legitimate, actually pretty skillful legislative question you can say in like 17 words. Okay, I
Yes.
picked it out, but I bet I could. And that just has to be asked. That's the shortest of emails for somebody. Almost no backing. Just what the bill is. Boom, 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 boom. Send it out. A 17-word thing for somebody from a constituent they've never heard from. Come on. How cool is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be done with a sound bite. Here's all you need to do. When you think you've reached the lowest common denominator and you find out you're not at a prime number yet, you could go even lower. You know, this is what's going on right now. So anyway, that's where I'm headed. I'm pretty excited about it just for that. I think it forces the issue, and I think Scutari's got to drop the rope for patience sooner or later. So if we also accuse him of casting the net so wide because he doesn't want to talk with adults, and he knows that the same information would help bolster their point too. 3/4 of the information that's going to be, wow, because you can't this. Well, it's the same for, he doesn't want the information. We got traction. I like it. There is enough moving pieces of the puzzle. That's great work by Andrea, staying on it and getting that answer. It's all it takes, though. It's just like what she did. I think the best example is anybody could do. Anybody. You don't have to.
Pressure.
Yeah, but you just have to apply it. And Jeff King, there should be an award for Jeff King because he does the simple little things and you find out about it later, but he just does it. I mean, nobody's saying, hey, why don't you contact your assembly people now that Joe Vitelli's already have, Anyway, it was Jeff that got Vin Gopal spun around by being in touch and putting that on a public website. So he changed the course of things just by doing that. And I say that still has a lot of power. Letters from constituent emails to senators on this issue, that could be integral in the next 3-4 months. In other words, whatever happens, to have at least more than 2 or 3 people ready to go. Yeah, I'll send that out. Yeah, I'll send it out. I couldn't get that done with anybody else. It'd be kind of cool if it was, Sativa Cross somehow could act as a pivot point for, yes, this is a good idea. The only thing we need is somebody to funnel the information to who can have some sort of spreadsheet sort of way of storing everything and where letters are, emails in and out, and emphasize every step of the way. Yes, it's a one-way street here. I've said how long? Oh, it's not fair. Playing field's tilted in their way. No, it's undulates and it's not planar. There's parts where we have an advantage. One is it's a one-way street with our legislators. We could copy and put what they say to us on a billboard. They can't say boo about what we say to them. They can't respond by quoting anything we say to them. We own that field, so why not get their constituents in on the simplest of it? It's like it's here. And I'm kind of excited about it and kind of angry about other stuff, but maybe the anger will be a propellant too. Who knows? We'll see.
It will fuel you to greatness.
Yeah. Well, I know you got something to do there, but it's I need to hear it out loud sometimes myself, even if it's something I'm saying.
Our list begins with Cheryl, Sabrina, Diane, Gracie, Cindy May. These are all children. Marie from Pennsylvania from cancer. Jack, another child. Joan, who wrote the book on epilepsy in the 40s, how they used to throw holy water on the children having. On Joan, she would have a seizure, and the nun would throw holy water on her, thinking she was possessed by the devil. And she told all the children, "Stay away from Joan. Stay away from Joan. She's possessed by the devil." And they would shun Joan.
Yep. Fact.
That's very sad because that nun needed Jesus. That nun was supposed to have Jesus, but she didn't. She needed it. She needed Jesus. She didn't have him. It's terrible. Where's your compassion? It's just ignorance, man. Ignorance and stigma. Well, they used to when Julius Caesar used to have seizures. Did you know that? Julius Caesar had seizures, and they used to think when he was at the wars, when he would fight the wars, that he was talking to the gods. That when he was doing his seizure, he was talking to the gods.
And I think back then, if I'm not mistaken, it became sort of known as Caesar's disease or something of the sort, which would be kind of like we got Lou Gehrig's disease, you know.
But back then it was more definitely more ignorance than now.
Yeah.
Now, like the nun is less.
Wait, no, we got plenty of ignorance.
Yeah,
now.
we got some ignorance.
What I'm saying is that they were working with literally like just looking up to the sky and wondering at that time versus the nun, which I think had a lot more ammunition to think to the
no, again,
contrary of being cool.
Again, full circle. Now it's me looking up at the sky wondering. You know what the hell? Different kind of wonder than 400 years ago, though.
Yes.
Randy Robertson, who had the Whipple procedure before they gave him cannabis oil, you got that ass backwards there. You give him the cannabis oil first, then you take out all his organs.
What?
Well,
that's the Whipple procedures when they take out all your organs.
Oh my God.
Well, it's just for cleaning.
Polly, Bill Buckman, who fought for civil rights in New Jersey.
Well, he took to representing advocates. And he was Chris Goldstein's lawyer from what he was pardoned from. So that Bill Buckman was his lawyer.
Chad, Jeremy, Joanne's husband. Colette, Matt, Troy from pancreatic cancer, Russ, Roger Barber. We all love Roger. He was a cool man. Roger was the best. I loved dabbing him out for the first time, and the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time.
You know, it really was amazing because the enthusiasm he had for doing what he could as a father of a child who cannabis oil worked good for, and being a lawyer who could then sue New Jersey where needed.
Yep.
Because he had his own practice and he didn't go under, you know, but, you know, it takes resources just to do that. And he did all that, but that threw him, you know, into areas he himself had never been before, like the joint, you know. So he'd be there and between Lefty and Weed Man at the joint. Roger'd be all like grinning and shit, you know. He's like, it really suited him well. Almost like, man, if I'd known how much fun it could be, I'd have been more like this a long time ago, you know. But yeah, it took a toll too, you know. And you know, but yeah, we can thank Roger Barber for New Jersey being the first state in the union to allow Schedule I substance on school grounds.
What's up, Adam? How we doing? I think we're wrapping up here.
I'm just stopping to say hi.
Yeah.
How you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Good. We're going through our list here. It's a pretty long list. We're at Roger Barber. Did you know Roger Barber, Adam?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe.
He was cool. He fought for having cannabis in the schools by the nurses, given by the nurses.
Well, yeah, at the ARC school, where there was also, that's where Tuffy went to school. You know,
yeah.
And others. And that Roger was the one that got Schedule I substance on school grounds so kids could have their their liquid medicine or whatever, oral form. You know.
All right.
Yeah, first say for New Jersey to be the first state to do anything, just ahead of Colorado, but to be the first state to do that, you know.
We got something right.
Yeah, well, a stop clock is right twice a day. Come on,
Okay.
can't take credit for that.
Jay Orletto. Jay is the one who sings "Who You Want to Roll With." That's Jay.
Yeah.
And he was having an issue with trying to get off of opiates. And he called me a few weeks before he died. And I have a regret about this because he called me. He's like, "Hey, Lefty, how do I get on this cannabis program? I want to get off these pills." I said, well, you have to get this doctor. You have to do this. You got to jump through. I told him all the hoops you had to jump through. Very discouraging at the time and very expensive at the time. Extremely expensive. And it was much easier for Jay to go down the corner and get a $10 bag of dope and just do that, you know. And that's what he did. And I regret not going out there that day and just smoking a big fat blunt with him because that's what I should have done. Should have done it, just went out there. But because he died like 2 weeks after that of an overdose. And, you know, because it was easier for him to get the dope than it was to get medical cannabis in New Jersey. It probably still is. Ella Bagelman died from brain cancer. She came to the State House many times.
Mm-hmm.
Hattie Koshel, my grandma, who I used to give her a breathing test. It was actually a vape bag, vape cannabis, and she loved it.
The big one. It was a volcano size one.
Big volcano vape, and fill it up and bring it to her. And
It's like that by that.
Yeah, we're testing your breathing today, Grandma. Okay, and then every day when I would come, she'd be like, "Where's the breathing test?" She'd be asking for it. Like, "Where's the test?" Oh, I got it right here. Here. Take it easy. It's right here. Relax, Grandma. It's right here. She loved it, and as you would too, if you were suffering and you had no way of getting any relief except for your crazy grandson.
Yeah. Well, see, then just realize when you're thinking about Jay and what you should or shouldn't have done. Realize that balances that wavelength out doing what you did for your grandmom like that. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, no, seriously, let that happen.
Yeah, this list still hurts though.
I know.
Jackie Rickert, Anthony, Jake, Armando. Armando had tailbone cancer.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I did that.
Felicia, Lynn, Dan,
Mine.
Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne Peters, I Am the Law, No Men's Ray.
They murdered that dude in jail. That's different. Yeah,
they killed him in jail, and all this talk about medical this and recreational that, and getting a law for home grow and trying to get this bill passed. He thought it was all bullshit. We should be allowed to grow weed. We don't need laws. Rosa Parks didn't need a law to tell her she couldn't sit in the front of the bus. The black and white people didn't need laws to tell them they could marry each other, but we did. Apparently, we did need laws to tell a black person they could marry a white person. And we did need a law that said that Rosa Parks could sit in the front of the bus. Because it was ridiculous. This country's ridiculous. And Thorne Peters, you're 100% right. These laws are bullshit. It's a free plant. God gave us this plant. No Men's Ray. No Men's Ray is right. I agree. But unfortunately, that's not the friggin' playing field we're on right now. I agree 100%, though. I wish it was that easy. And they killed him. Yeah, they killed him in a Tennessee jail. He was selling weed outside the jail. He was slinging it, slinging weed, slinging dime bags outside the jail. And then they took him in, and they killed him. He died. He got like a 4-year sentence, and he didn't survive that sentence. He was very outspoken against the government. He was.
it was right away. It's not like he did 3 of that 4 years and then died in jail. Like he died in a couple months, right? So either he was suffering from life threatening illnesses that were being controlled by his cannabis use, or they just turned the camera off and choked him out or something. But anyway,
Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jay Bird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary Sage, who was your cameraman for many years, your historian with you and Cheryl.
Jim, you're muted.
Oh yeah, Jim, you're muted.
I knew that there's some stuff going on with me, but yeah, he made sure of that Cheryl's memorial went smooth. He made sure that when we protested outside John Bon Jovi's house when Al Gore was there, that we were where we needed to be when we needed to be there. And from the time when I met him at the class action lawsuit of patients in Philadelphia in 1999, 2 weeks later was the next time Cheryl and I went to Frank Blon's office up on Airport Plaza up in, was that Keensburg or something or whatever. Yeah, Gary's out there, and man, if every state had about 5 or 10 more Garys helping people do what they needed to, sometimes it's just a matter of the people that really need to be seen need help getting there,
Amen to that.
And I'm hoping that, that because we are getting traction to a bill being heard, that we can somehow get people interested in making sure that there's a concerted effort to get patients physically to the State House who want to testify in person, and other patients would really feel better that, in other words, don't have a ride, don't have the money, don't have what is needed. And it doesn't matter. Help one person, help 20, just to, to see it coming. Because seriously, there's people that would say, hey, I'll do a targeted donation for that. So if Sativa Cross is ready to take targeted donations, which is just a matter of somebody saying, I'd like you to spend it on that, and you segregate it. I don't mean physically, you do the math and you know exactly what you have to do that. And chances are that they want it there for the next one down the road. It's just a thought. I mean, it could be because somebody, do like, oh, I do $100 for that, for people who can and see the wisdom in it. That could be 3 or 4 patients that otherwise wouldn't get there, and whatever it took. That's where it's at, So yeah, I feel the traction. I'm marking today. I'm marking Joe Vitelli. His co-sponsorship is the first actual traction he's had for getting this bill heard, and he should know he did it. We'll see.
Julia?
No, yeah. Wow, right to the end. Yeah. The latest, the most recent edition. Well,
she died in 2025.
Julia, yeah, she like
in January, right?
A month ago or whatever.
Yeah. So she died in January. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. 1 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. We do need to get clarity on the mortality rate of patients and whatever statistics that, and the CRC is going to be doing stuff about this. Of course, that's another thing that just happened. We found out about. They've got 3 meetings, the 9th March and 2 more. I think it's 19th and 20th or something. Yeah, remote meetings. Where the issue is patient access, and it includes home grow concerns for patients with the CRC. So that's traction. We'll talk about that. I'm trying to counter the misery you inflict on me, and I accept every time we have this free, because sometimes it really makes me feel bad. So I'm listening, but I'm not going to. No
Jeff Oaks. The mighty oak. What did I say? I said Jeff Oakes. I'm going to celebrate that name because that man fought. That man fought hard and he fought long and he kicked ass wherever he went.
Yeah, he realized the simplicity of the worse your condition became, the more dire it became, the more involved it became, the stronger you become as an advocate, the stronger you become, the stronger you become. He knew he had the power to just show up and ask the governor. It worked out, you know? I mean, got to asking the governor, how can I live in a state that will help me die, but will not help me live by growing a plant? You know? Yeah. He got that out in a public situation where the governor had to read it out loud.
Gasping to people gasping.
Yep. You know, I got to revisit that. I mean, you could hear what he said. It did sound something like, I don't want to answer. I can't answer it. Something, you know, muffled. But I think we should segregate a picture of his face at that moment. Seriously, we can do that. You know,
Yes.
I don't mind. You know,
Technology.
yeah, I don't mind suggesting things for you to do, but there's others that can do that too. You know, if you make sure you find a video of it, because I don't know where things are stored, but you do that.
Send me the video.
It's all coming in handy soon.
All right, guys. See you Thursday.
Guys, everyone, take it easy.
We'll be live tonight.
Smoke up if you got them.
All right.
They
Yeah,
shall
man.
grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor years
Down.
going down of the sun.
Sun in the morning, we will remember them.
See ya.